All right, there's an email it's gonna surface around this morning. We've been waiting. I think everybody's been talking about this since asTech's debacle this summer, at what was coming and what was coming with State Farm and what was going to happen. It's been in the works since around the spring. This is nothing new, but the pilot will begin actually today, this week, in Michigan and in Colorado. So I'll show you guys the email that's coming out. So you'll see some shops going, "Hey, what's going on?" And we've had shops post, "Okay, you're talking about asTech, but we hear something's going on with State Farm and somebody else." So, as we have said multiple times since this summer, yes, there has been a lot of talks between State Farm and Opus. The pilot is officially launching. Opus has a rules engine that's it's Opus IVS. It's the mapping. We call it like a mapping system. And it's based on OE procedures, OEM requirements. So the difference between Opus's rules engine is that it's only OE, or I've been told it's only OE. And then asTech's rules engine was their own proprietary information from their years of working or whatever that was saying, one, what needed to be done or what didn't need to be done, even though the OE procedure said to do it, and then what could be done with an aftermarket scan tool versus an OEM scan tool. So this pilot is going to go into place. And really what it is an attempt for an insurer to get on the same page. If we look back historically over the last 3 years, in this ADAS world, you have drastically different um, uh, estimates, invoices, etc. Like you can have the exact same damage to a car, and in this state, it's a $400 invoice, and then in this state, it's a $5,000 invoice. And it's not like one's OE and one's a mobile guy. It's like two mobile guys or an in-house shop with a mobile guy or whatever. So the question really becomes what's needed and what's not, so that we can get adjusters on the same page as the shop. You should be singing from the same hymnal. Now, we're never going to sing from the same hymnal when it comes to pricing, and that's always going to be a problem. But I like when we can at least get scope right. So I always tell shops, when we have such a drastic price difference between an insurer collision estimate and a body shop's collision estimate, the first thing we do is determine, do we have the same scope, instead of getting into the nuances of hours or whatever. But do we have the same scope? Do we see the same parts as damaged? Do we see the same um, uh, big rocks, so to speak? So I like the idea that this is going to be getting everybody on the same page. Now, I have been told behind the scenes that State Farm is working with a lot of national mobile companies, and that'll be like your Protex and whatever, on coming up with some pricing guidelines, bookends, so to speak, to kind of help them then know how to sort out the difference. We've seen a lot of crazy invoices over the last 2 years. There was a lot of misinformation shared with body shops. ADAS was sold as a profit center. So I mean, if we think back to the early 90s, we didn't go out and sell airbags as a profit center to collision shops. We sold it. It was basically, this is a safety item. This is something new. You guys are going to start seeing this in the shops. And we treated it kind of like a kit gloves kind of thing. And then ADAS comes around, and there's all these different people in the market, and it's been pitched as a new revenue stream. So a lot of shops just thought, well, hey, I'll buy a tablet, I'll buy a targeting system for 10 grand, and then I'll just start writing these invoices for whatever I want to charge. And the insurers got caught on their heels. You would have thought they would have started working a little bit faster in 2015, but they didn't. They got kind of caught on their heels, and because they were on their heels, it's just kind of became a wild, wild west. So we're dealing with some of the repercussions of that resetting that's taking place, and every insurer is going to be working on it. I do have estimates that I'll share later on this week, where I have two insurers, USAA and GEICO, that are writing just $15 for scans. So they've taken the asTech pricing, found the floor, and that's kind of what's going. So we're going to struggle with this over a while. If you are a shop in the pilot area, if you're in Michigan or Colorado, and you have some feedback to share, I'd love to hear how this goes, how this rolls out, and what your expectations are. I mean, as a former service first, I'm not calling it select service, but as a former service first person, I'm actually deeply invested in this one to see what happens. And I have no confidence in an insurer to completely make the right decision, but I'm curious to see where this one goes. How we handle this one may help offset some of the negativity that has come from asTech. If you are a mobile provider or a provider of scan and calibrations in either of these two markets, and you have some feedback, well, I'd love to hear that too. So just keep us informed on how this is going and how this is rolling out. And if you have any comments or you have any insights that I don't have, I know sometimes people call me and give me a version that they want me not to go kind of online and blast something. So if there's stuff I'm missing or things I haven't been told, then absolutely share those with me as well. But we will keep an eye on this one as it unfolds over the next piloting period, which is 4 to 6 months. So if it's going well, it may last six. If it's going horribly, it may last 4 months or so. But typically pilots are 4 to 6 months, and then they'll take a look at the data and the feedback, and then they'll make a decision on is that going to be a national rollout or not. We're going to keep tabs on the Opus people. They have been wonderful to work with. We've been working with them for a long time, probably 4 or 5 years. And then over the last couple of years, when we kind of ended up with that as our solution for OEM scanning tool access. But we'll keep in touch with them and keep getting feedback and information from them as well. But I do want to hear from you if you have something about this that can help other shops in the market. Thanks.